All right. So the first thing I'd like to say is thank you very much for attending the lesson last week. It was a very positive experience, particularly to be able to discuss with you various points about where this project is going. Now, we don't in this project, we don't expect that everyone who takes this course, and so we have in total, I think for both quarters, autumn, well, fall and winter, we've got about 10 teaching fellows who are taking it to, add another skill to, to their resume, and also to maybe consider joining us in the next stage that starts next year. So it was good to be able to get into the classroom and see you in person and share with you the concept that you might think about joining if you have enjoyed this course, or if you feel you have gotten something from it, or if you would like the opportunity to put some of the ideas that we have discussed and that we have worked through into actual reality. The other thing that I liked about last week was how dedicated and how much work you had put into considering the various elements of the course. So putting together a class activity, a complete class plan, and then a course plan always starts with the central idea of what you are aiming for. And what we're aiming for in this course, and what we generally aim for in modern TESOL classes, is to have a focus on the student and maximizing the time that they get to use the language. Again, this is not necessarily just for TESOL, but for most modern language classes that are considered to be productive, i.e. using speaking and writing, that you try and maximize the amount of time that students are what we call on task. So if the activities in the class are focused on that goal, then whether they work perfectly or not, you have put the students in the best position to succeed in the aims of the course. So the first activity I would like you to do in this week's lesson is to actually go back and review what we did in the class time last week. I want you to reflect on the lesson materials you produced for last week and the discussions that we had in class. I was very happy to see that most of you, we all couldn't get in the classroom at the same time, but most of the class was able to be there at the same time. You were enthusiastic in sharing your thoughts and also participating a little bit in the activities. And so I have a lot of good faith that you're going to, we're going to be able to do that again in week number 8. Ask yourself the question, what do you think you did well? And I've put in parentheses, produced interesting and focused content. Say that it didn't go well, because I think it really did. But I would like you to speak positively about that and tell me what you think you did well. Was it the presentation of the activity? Was it the content of the activity? Was it the selection of the materials, the explanation of the materials, answering the questions that I gave you, or promoting discussion in the class? Any of these things, because they all came up last week. So be positive and tell me what you think you did well. And then the next question, is there anything that you would do differently? And you don't have to say that there is anything, because if not, that's also fine. Feel good about the work. But I'd like you to spend, maybe 150 to 200 words here. I'll just add that as a note. I'll add that there just to remind you. So not too much, but I'd like to see what you consider to have been good from last week, because I guarantee you there's plenty of good stuff there. And now we have to start thinking about what we're going to be doing in the final class. Now, next week's class, week number 7, will be similar to a standard lesson, and I will be reviewing what we've looked at in lessons 1 through 4, just to kind of refresh your memory of that, adding a few more broader details about how those aspects of language teaching can assist you in your task production. Because what I would like you to do, I mentioned it in the announcement on Moodle, what I would like you to do is choose 3 lesson materials that are are reception based, so either listening or reading. And of those 3, I'd like at least one of them to be of a different type. So if you want 2 readings and 1 listening, or 2 listenings and 1 reading, that's fine. Choose a topic that you are interested in. So you get to choose the topic this time, so you don't have to choose from the topics that I gave you. And I'd like you to go through the activity design 3 times, and this is why I'm giving you 2 weeks to do it. So this is the last worksheet that I'm going to ask you to complete. So before next week, so before lesson 7, I'd like you to have at least completed this, excuse me, so this part of, if I do it that way, okay. I want you to complete this part of each of the lesson materials. So I'd like you to tell me what is the material. So add the URL in here. So if it's reading text, or a journal article, or a blog, or a newspaper article, or whatever it is, a TED Talk, YouTube video, a spoken news report, anything like that. Podcast, I don't mind. Okay, so open your mind to different kinds of materials, because I guarantee you that in this class we're going to be going beyond the textbook. So we're selecting a textbook that will give students plenty of materials, but we'll certainly be going beyond the text and sourcing materials from different places. So please feel free to do that. The reason I would like this part done before next week is I will add these URLs to our Moodle page. So I will go in and I'll put everyone's material into the Moodle page. So I'll give it a title, and I'll put up the 3 URLs into Moodle. In that way, for the students who are going to all come at the same time. So some of you have told me that you can't meet up at the same time in week 8. So I understand that you have other commitments. But if you are in the classroom at the same time, I want to give everyone access to the types of materials that the other students are selecting. Not because you have to review them yourself, but I'm hoping that there is a wide range of different sources to kind of give inspiration for future projects, to show that we can source them from many different places. Then the activity that you're going to do for your homework in week 7, preparing for week 8, is the pre-task, the discussion task, and the post-task part of it for all 3. So just to be clear, so this is lesson 6. The work I would like you to do for this classroom time is to go through and review, take as much time as you would normally in a lesson. So if we were doing this in class, this would be a research task, and we would have, stages to go through and chances to share with other people. But unfortunately, we can't do that. But what I would like you to do is take your time, review as much material as you would like, select 3. So 2 reading, 1 listening, or 2 listening, 1 reading. Add the URL for these sources into this document in these 3 places here. Then add the flipped aspect of the class. So what do you want the students to do with the material as they review it? So that's the difference between the flipped aspect and the pre-task. The flipped aspect is related to directly to the material. The pre-task is related to the task that you're going to do with that material. So what do you want, or what would you want your students to do while they're either listening or reading this? If you have this done by next week, then I will take these URLs, I'll copy and paste them into Moodle, and then everyone will be able to see the types of materials that have been selected. And then if we are able to, most of us are able to meet at the same time, then we can experience the class activities that you have planned for the final lesson. Okay, so those are the 2 things that I would like you to do for this week's lesson activity. So give yourself some space here to write a review of the work that you did. Then go and do some research on a topic that interests you, that you think the students might also be interested in as well. Find 3 sources of reception material, so either reading or listening, 2 of one and 1 of the other, and add the URL into here so that I can add it to Moodle. Then for your homework, think about the activity that you want students to do as related to the material. And then when we come back for lesson 7, I will be able to review that, give you some comment on it, and then we'll do a review of basic principles of TESOL that we've gone through already in this course. And finally, in week 8, then we can find a convenient time for you to either meet only me and discuss the tasks that you have produced, or if we can get a few of us together in the classroom, then we can do a final presentation / discussion to end this course. So, as usual, thank you very much for your patience and for your hard work. I look forward to seeing the materials that you select for this final presentation discussion activity. And I will be producing a review video that will go up around about the same time as this next week. As usual, if you have any questions or anything you want to check, please send me an email or message me through Moodle. And I wish you a good week and look forward to speaking to you again soon. Thank you very much.